Welcome to Late Night. Our first guest today is Amar Aziz. Amar works in environmental services, and we recruited Amar with the assistance of SCE LifeWorks and their employment program. He has proven to be a great employee and a wonderful colleague. So Amar, we're just going to move this over a little bit. Can you, I'm just going to make sure people can hear you. Is that okay right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks so much for coming up and agreeing to do this.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, Amar?
So, my family live here, and my wife come here from Pakistan.
So you moved here from Pakistan?
Yeah.
How long ago?
No, my wife come here, take on 6 months, come here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I misunderstood. So you're saying your wife is going to move here in 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How long have you worked here at St.Amant?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Just about 4 years, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your job and what you do here at work?
I become recycling.
You do the recycling? You look after the recycling in the whole building here?
Yeah, whole
Okay.
building, and I am working. I'm cleaning the gym. I clean the dusting and mopping the floor and vacuum lamps, and I am cleaning couches.
That's awesome. So you're pretty busy. You look after a lot of the common areas. I often see you. What do you like most about working here at St.Amant?
St.Amant, I like St.Amant work too much, and I like this good company. There is nice people living here. I like it.
You do? Yeah. And do you have lots of people that you work with?
Yeah, my coworkers, and it's good. I like it, and I like my supervisor. It's good, and it has been lot for me, and I can. They need me more. Can go to work. Yes, I can go to work now.
Oh, that's awesome. So you got a good team.
Yeah.
I heard you say you got a good supervisor. That's pretty important.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Me, I like you. You are big boss, and I like you.
Thank you very much. That's very nice. Yeah. Mike and I are your biggest fans now. Yeah.
Me, I like it. The friend here is good. It's working hard, moving, like that stuff.
You like working hard?
Yeah, working and some friend here, people, I like it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, he's working hard because he's watching the kids. It's good now.
Why is this job so important to you?
Oh, and I need them. I need my money.
Yeah.
And my wife coming here to Canada and living here.
Yeah, so Amar, you were sharing when we had a chance to talk earlier that you work Monday and Fridays, right?
Yeah.
And that your wife is going to come and move here in 6 months, and you were saying you wanted to earn some more money, which is, I think, something that everybody in this room would have in common with you.
Yeah.
So we definitely understand when you say you work for money, and definitely hear you when you say you want to welcome your wife here.
Yeah.
And it would be the first time that she's lived here in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have any other jobs?
I'm looking a job.
You which?
I'm looking a job.
Yeah. And
I'm looking a job.
you're looking for another job.
Yeah.
But you also had shared with me that you work at some of the Bomber games
Yeah.
and make hot dogs or help wrap hot dogs and make hot dogs there? Yeah. And then what do you do on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday when you're not here at St.Amant?
So I'm going to work in the Dollar Tree.
At the Dollar Tree, and you are, what do you do there? Stocking shelves?
Yeah.
And that's a work experience, right? Because you're hoping to get a paid job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about living here in Winnipeg?
Winnipeg is the good country, and me I like a summer, me I like a snow, I don't like a cold weather.
You don't like the cold weather?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us are kind of feeling the same way about the cold
Yeah,
weather.
I know.
Yeah. What is the most important thing in your life?
Alright?
Yeah.
Right?
What's most important to you in your life?
Right? My parents come here, live here.
Your family moving here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my content.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share with people here while you have a chance?
Okay, you can work hard and you need a day off, and while you're working hard and discuss, you need a rest.
Yeah. Earlier on, and you haven't asked me here today, but I am going to bring it up. Amar did ask me if it's possible to get more work here. And I had told him that given the fact that I know exactly how much he wants to work more and the reasons why he wants to work more, that we will do everything we can to help you out. So we're going to keep talking about that, okay? All right. So I really want to thank you, and I think everybody else wants to thank you for agreeing to come up and do this interview today.
Thank you.
Okay. Just move right, yeah. So, thank you, Mark. My second guest today is Gretchen Marcingon Estava. Gretchen is one of the graduates of the English at Work program, and she came in today, even though she's actually away on maternity leave, to talk about the English at Work program. So please help me in welcoming Gretchen. For agreeing to do this. You can just adjust the mic there based on kind of how it sounds. Can you tell me a little bit about when and why you moved to Canada?
We moved to Canada year of 2012, and the plan is to work as a nurse, but we didn't know that it's hard to find a job as a nurse here.
Okay. And how long have you worked here at St.Amant?
I've worked with St.Amant for over 3 years now.
3 years. How did you hear about, because you're really here to tell us a little bit about your experience in the English at Work class. Can you tell us how did you hear about that?
I first heard about English at Work class from one of my colleagues. It was actually the last day of registration. So I got curious about it. I looked for flyers in the bulletin board, and after hours of thinking, I phoned Sylvia Listen to register.
Right on. And how did you feel when you were signing up for the class?
I felt nervous. I was afraid, simply because I might get judged. They might think that I was not able to speak English or understand English at that time.
Yeah, that's when we were talking earlier, I was really struck when you had shared that with me, because I'm kind of thinking, oh, it's a great opportunity, but I didn't realize that that is a new experience. You're not sure who's going to be there. You're not sure who's going to be kind of watching you or saying, giving you feedback. So, what were your expectations of the benefits of it when you signed up? What did you think you'd get out of it?
During that time, I was preparing to challenge my nursing profession here.
Yeah.
So, and part of the requirement is to pass an English exam. So one of my expectations that time was to improve and practice my speaking skills.
Yeah, and it's pretty awesome. That's pretty clear to people here. So what were, at the conclusion of the course, what were the actual benefits that looking back, that you see?
Based on my experience, there are many benefits of taking the course. First, I got to know other employees from different departments, because we were classmates in the class. And Second, I got refreshed about the basic English course. And third, I was able to practice my speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills. Also, I learned how to use the St.Amant email and St.Amant intranet.
Okay.
And lastly, I was able to pass my English for midwifery and Canadian English language benchmark assessment for nurses, or what we call the CELBAN exam.
So that's huge for you, right?
Yeah.
That's
For those who are not familiar with the recertification process, an applicant has to pass a very difficult English exam before we are able to write a nursing-specific exam. And so often that's the most difficult part.
right. Well, congratulations for passing that. Was there anything difficult when you were actually taking the class? Because I think people appreciate you're taking a class, you're also living the rest of your life and working too, right?
It's not difficult, but let's say more of a challenge because we're busy working and we're busy at home, and there are times that our teacher will give us take-home assignments. That's
Yeah.
the most challenging part for me.
Yeah, so homework is tough for sure. How has taking the class helped you in your job?
It helped me, after taking the class, I gained my confidence in talking to other people in my field, just like today. And I gained more confidence.
Yeah, I would say you've gained a great deal of confidence because it takes a lot of courage to come up here and do this here today. So awesome. How has the class helped in other parts of your life?
It helped me excel in my midwifery and nursing profession.
In midwifery and in the nursing profession. Okay, that's great. What would you tell other people who are considering taking the course?
I highly recommend this course. I encourage every newcomer here to go and try English at work. It is a great way and safe place to practice our English. It's not just about basic English, but our teacher, Sylvia Thyssen, would try to incorporate or add more topics relevant to the class. Like in our class, we tackled about St.Amant, how to use St.Amant intranet, St.Amant email. We've discussed culture, mindfulness, fire protocol, and how to do incident report, and many more. Also, our teacher is a very good resource person. Whenever we have questions, even though it's not related to the class, she would channel us to the right person that can give us the best answer.
That's awesome. So there is a big shout out here to Sylvia Thyssen. I don't know if Sylvia's here. I hope she is today. Gretchen, you were also sharing with me when we had talked earlier that you had to do a lot of studying and find some quiet space, and like a lot of people, your home is not always the quietest place to do that. And that you used our library here a little bit to do that too?
Through this course, I was able to utilize the library upstairs. I stayed there every morning before my evening shift started, during those times that when I need to study and I need to work. And I was able to watch the nursing skills online, which is not accessible on my computer at home. And it was a great help for my clinical competence assessment for my nursing.
Okay, Gretchen, thank you so much for agreeing to come up and share your story here with us today. Thanks. So my last guest today is Allison Locke. Allison, do you want to come up and join us? Allison was an integral part of the organization and development of the pre-kindergarten autism program. So we have lots of questions for Allison here today. How long have you worked at St.Amant, and what is your current role within the organization?
In December, I have been here for 15 years, and I am an autism consultant in the autism programs.
Right on. And what is early intensive behavioral intervention, and why is it important?
Early intensive behavior intervention is the treatment of choice for young children with autism. What it is really highly individualized, structured teaching sessions that occur as early on in the child's life as we can possibly manage. So as quickly as the child is diagnosed, we want to be in there and providing this treatment very, very in a structured way and very individualized. It's typically 20 to 40 hours a week. And it's usually run and supervised by a board-certified behavior analyst. It is really important because we know from many, many decades of research that the biggest gains are made early on in life. And so we really want to capitalize on those years between like 2 and 6 to provide the child with a lot of opportunity to learn, but also to get them ready for their longer school career.
Right on. Thank you. We offered a new service last year and have been asked to offer it again this year. That's the pre-kindergarten program. Can you tell me a little bit about why we were asked to offer this service?
Well, the pre-kindergarten program really came out of the need, a growing need in Winnipeg and actually the whole province for early intensive applied behavior analysis services for little kids with autism. Our early learning program has been around for many, many years and would be the recommended treatment. However, we are housing a very long wait list. And so what was coming up was that children who were aging off of our early learning wait list. So if they turn 5 before they start with us, they lose access to early intervention, they would lose access to school age services, and now our new model of consultative services till the age of 21. So there was a group of kids where this was identified as a risk. And so the pre-K program, pre-kindergarten program, allowed us to provide them with early intervention a little bit, and then to protect their services going on into their early adulthood.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about what's it look like, the pre-K program? How is it structured and how does it function?
The pre-kindergarten program is a group model of ABA classrooms. We have 2 classrooms. One is just up that hallway, and the other one is on Wall Street by Polo Park. What it is looking at, what we really tried to do was combine what we knew about kindergarten classrooms and what we've learned about providing group interventions for young children with autism. So we tried to marry all of these things that we knew and present this for these kids. So it really does feel a lot like a kindergarten. The kids come and we really, really, really tried to make sure that they had as much fun as they possibly could during their day. We wanted them to be ready to go and join their peers at school the following year and be able to do circle time and crafts, play together. And we wanted very badly for their first interactions with the school system at all to be very, very positive. So it looks like that, plus very individualized one-on-one teaching sessions. So all the children spent a lot of time working together as a group, but then working on skills that were very specific to their needs.
Right on. So when did you find out that St.Amant needed to offer this service?
August of last year.
And when did the program actually begin?
The first group of kids started on February 4th. We started planning on August, and immediately as soon as I found out that we were going to be doing this, the planning process started. But February 4th was our live date with actual real children.
Yeah, and reason we ask some of these questions is that every one of you, I think, has had experience with having to face some pretty big challenges, and this was a huge one that Allison led for our organization. So can you talk a little bit about what was involved with getting it up and running?
Yeah, it was a huge project and a tight timeline, and there was a lot of people that really helped make this work. The team was led by our senior manager, Carrie Walters, who really tried to, I think, put all the moving pieces together in a kind of a cohesive plan. The first job that we really tried to tackle was finding space, which sounds easier, but it was very difficult to do. So we worked, Lisa LaFerrier and Rick Quinn worked really, really hard on first finding space and then getting permits, having the renovations done that were needed to make the spaces workable for the kids to come. While that was going on, the working group started to try to figure out how we were going to actually provide this model. So Carolyn Samard and Tiffany Payne worked really hard on getting information from the families that were eligible. We had a finite amount of money, and we had to make that work depending on how many children were going to be joining us. And so they were in contact with them, trying to figure out what their specific families' needs were, whether they would want to come, if they wanted to come to one particular end of the city or the other. And then the clinical team, which was myself, Lindsay Wisnowski, and Charlie Chan, worked on how are we going to accomplish the goals to get these children ready for school. And so we took what we knew from working in our flagship group model at Minnetonka School. We talked to kindergarten teachers, we looked at all the research that was based on ABA and best practice for group models and tried to create a curriculum that would be workable for everybody. That's how it went. We had a couple of snafus along the way. Our Wall Street location was not up and running on time, so we had everybody come here for about a month. We had to buy furniture and purchase things and get everything straightened out, but it was a long process with a lot of people that really contributed.
Nice job of naming many of those folks here today. Why do you think this service is actually valuable for the children who are receiving it?
Well, firstly, it eliminates the risk that they would not receive services until the age of 21. It's a gigantic amount of time and support that they would lose had they not participated with this model. Secondly, we know that early intervention is really key. So we were able to provide a short amount of time, but short is better than none, really targeted intervention and get these kids really ready for their first experiences in kindergarten.
Can you talk a little bit about what you actually saw as kind of gains or improvements or from the children's perspective and maybe also from the family's perspective?
Sure. The kids did remarkably well across the board. Every single one of them just flourished, I think, in our environment. For many of them, they had not had any kind of intervention before they came to our door. So they didn't know what to expect from school. They didn't know how to be around other children even. So we had kids that arrived in diapers that we were able to toilet train. We had children that were unable to communicate their needs and wants, learn how to use communication systems or speak even. We had kids learn how to play together and follow instructions from people that weren't their mom. We did a poll, I guess, at the end of the time with us before the children graduated out and talked to the parents. And I was really, one of the best things for me was to hear back from all these families that they had seen such gains at home as well. So we had parents say that their child had gained a lot of social skills and they were more empathetic towards their younger siblings after having been with us. The changes around their life skills and their ability to cope with problem behaviors had changed. So it was great feedback for us to get that we had been impactful not only in the time they were with us, but when they were at home as well.
Yeah, one of the things that I often hear, because I have a chance to meet parents who have just found out that their child has been diagnosed with autism. And I'm sure there are some of our staff who are parents who have been through that. And I think we probably are a little bit more sensitive because of what we do around those kinds of conversations. But when you're talking to a family that is feeling, going through the kind of the grief of the diagnosis, but also is just absolutely hungry for information, it is a very desperate spot to be. And I know that Allison and all of her colleagues are having those conversations on a daily basis. And I often think one of the things that we offer on top of all of the a child who didn't know how to use the toilet being able to use it, or someone who wasn't able to communicate verbally, learning how to communicate. Those are awesome accomplishments. But also giving a family hope by being able to provide them with the answers to their questions and kind of walking with them on the beginning of that journey. That's a huge role that sometimes we don't talk about, but I think it is an absolute huge part of everyone, of your job, your job and your colleagues. So what about this service are you most proud of?
Well, I'm most proud of the kids. We worked really hard, but they worked 100 times harder than we did every day that they showed up at school. They put in a ton of effort. They were happy to come to school, and they really learned a lot, so I'm most proud of that. I'm also very proud of the team that we managed to put together, from the working group that got it all organized, but also the staff that worked in both classrooms. The senior tutors were both phenomenal. We had lead tutor support, and our actual direct care workers, our tutors that work one-on-one with these kids, they deserve medals. They work very, very hard, and the gains that these children have made are in large part because of their dedication and the work that they did every single day.
Oh, thank you. If you could change something or do something differently, what would it be?
Well, I think that the idea that our early learning program is really where we would like these children to go. So this model was designed in response to that not being able to be provided for these kids. So if we could have it to do again, it would be awesome if we could have these kids picked up into our early learning model so that they could get very intensive, longer-term treatment plans. One of the things that we heard from the parents was, this was so great, but we wish we had more. And I wish we could have provided that for them.
Yeah, and I think that's, when we were talking, that just came through really clear from Allison. So would you all join me in thanking Allison? Every one of the people that we interviewed today, I'm just picking out a theme that just came to me. We talked about how proud they were or how happy they were. You know, Omar talked about Mike being an excellent supervisor and being supportive and having a good team around. Gretchen talked about Sylvia and how great a teacher she is, and you know what a great environment was created for her, not just in the classroom, but here at St.Amant overall. And Allison named numerous people, people she works with, for, and that support her in the work with the kids every day. So I am extremely proud of these three people for everything that they've done. So thank you very much. I'm just gonna, if you're okay, I just have a couple of things to say, and then we're going to take a break. If you're okay, just stand there. Okay, so a huge thank you again to all the guests. Hearing your stories and the passion that you have for your work at St.Amant is so meaningful to me and I think all of us here today. Now, we have 2 years left in our strategic plan. The executive just had our planning day this week, and we all agreed that we're going to focus on the projects that are currently underway. We won't start any new planned projects, but we'll concentrate on finishing what we've started. However, we all know that sometimes things come up. Our funder may ask us to take something on, or we may see a great partnership opportunity that would fill an unmet need in our community. However, nothing new is planned. The work that's already planned includes opening another 9 homes in the community. I'm talking in the next 2 years. It includes renovating the ABC cottages to accommodate a behavioral stabilization unit, something we've been talking about since the beginning of our strategic plan. Our proposal is in the final stages of approval with government, and we're just awaiting the go-ahead. You might remember we were calling it the Crisis Stabilization Unit, and we've changed the name to Behavioral Stabilization or Behavior Stabilization. The reason for the change is that because our funder uses the term crisis stabilization for a very different kind of service than the one we're planning. So we've changed the project name to ensure there is no confusion with our funder or anyone else. We will finish the 3rd floor renovation and continue to work on raising funds to eventually renovate all of the living areas. You do realize that all of the $1.4 million that's going into 3 West is money that we have raised It is not coming from government. It's Winnipeg Foundation money in conjunction with donations that come from the community. Our goal is to have 115 rooms available at River Road Place. Less people will mean more individualized services and meaningful interactions for the people who are staying here. Projects are underway to improve mealtime experiences and to increase one-to-one volunteers. We hope to have River Road Place's designation changed from Developmental Center to Healthcare Center in the next couple of years. We are working really hard on our organizational culture to ensure that every staff person understands our values, and our expectation is that they will deliver services and interact in a mindful and person and family-centered way. We have a project around expanding and improving our day services, growing our foster care services, and our supported independent living services. So as you can see, we still have a lot on the go, and you are all contributing through your work to finish these projects. Looking into the future, I can see that our plan will be a success, and I thank you for coming along for the journey, for participating from the very beginning in the development of the plan, and working so hard to make it all happen. We'll take a short break now, and I encourage you to submit your questions. I understand we have quite a few already. And to help yourself to some coffee and cookies. We'll be back in 10 minutes to answer your questions. Thanks, everyone.